Hello, a community of spouses and spouses to be. I am back today with a video in reference to the marriage covenant. As you know, we have been talking from previous videos on let's just get back to the basics of marriage. And so I've been sharing just a few practical things that will help you enter into the marriage covenant either before you say I do or even after you say I do. Just to kind of give you some things that a lot of people are not aware of going into the marriage covenant. And so even though I'm not in very much detail, I still want to strongly encourage you to do your own studying, your own research, to study to show yourself approved, and just get real acquainted with what God says about the marriage covenant. And so today I want to talk about the friend zone. Ding, 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 ding. The friend zone. That's a topic of interest, especially in today's times, especially in this generation of time that we're living in. I want to talk about a few things in reference to the friend zone. What about your friend? We sing that song, TLC. Okay, so the friend zone. We're going to talk about the mutual friends. We're going to talk about the homegirl and the homeboy. And that's just my little sister, or that's my big brother, or the longtime friends, the same sex friends, and definitely the opposite sex friends. And even if you watch one of the videos, I was speaking about the ex. Sometimes in a marriage covenant, you enter into a marriage covenant and the child is involved. And so an ex, we're going to also discuss that today. So I wanted to just, ask the Holy Spirit to just use my words today with this one, because this one is a biggie, because this is where the relational part of the marriage covenant can get kind of tricky. And a lot of people just think, oh, well, I've been friends with this person since high school. I've been friends with this person for a long time, and people don't realize, first, automatically, the human body, okay, is automatically attracted to the opposite sex. That's just point blank, period. It don't matter how ugly a person is, how big a person is, how this person may smell like this. You sit down with the opposite sex of that person and have a conversation with that person over drinks, over small conversations. Y'all start finding out that y'all have certain things in common, a couple of laughs here and there. Y'all texting and, showing each other stuff. That can lead to a emotional soul tie, an emotional thing can take place, and you thinking, oh, well, that's just my homie, or that's not a big deal, but it's a big deal. So first, I just want to talk about the mutual friends. It is good for husband and wives to have mutual friends, the same friends, whether it's guy or female. We are mutual friends. Like, me and my husband, I know you and your husband, or vice versa. That is maybe one of the most healthiest friendships, especially if you guys both are married. Doesn't necessarily mean that, okay, well, we married and we're not married, so we can't be friends. No, but if you guys are mutual friends, like my husband knows you, my wife knows you, or vice versa, however it goes. Mutual friends is a healthy a friendship going into a marriage covenant. So there's nothing wrong with that, whether they're married or not. As you get into the marriage covenant, though, there may be some things that you used to can do with the single friends that you cannot do as much once you get married. So that's what that comes in at. But it's okay to, hey, we're not married yet, but you guys decided to get married and we're going to still be friends. Yeah, that's fine. We're mutual friends. We all friends. This is what we do. This is what a kicker comes in at. So you have the homegirl or the homeboy, and y'all been longtime friends, either from school, from work, or, neighborhood friends, or whatever. And you may have even mentioned this person to your spouse, or you may have even mentioned this person's name, and this person have come up. It is not okay. Even after mentioning it, and sometimes spouses be like, oh, I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. It's not biggie. Y'all been friends for long. I'm not trying to break up your friendship. Listen, it is not okay. I'm not saying that you have to break up your friendship, but there has to be a level of cutoff. There has to be a level of, okay, we may used to can talk like this. We can't have these kind of conversations anymore. We may used to can text each other back and forth, but I have a husband here now. I'm here with my wife now. So I can't have, for example, for a guy, you can't have the girl from your neighborhood, your old time friend from your neighborhood, texting you and ask, what's going on? What you doing today? What y'all got planned today? And you a married man. You can't do that. You don't bring that into the marriage covenant. So it's not saying that you cannot be friends with these people anymore, but that does have to be a level of cutoff. That does have to be a level of respect. And the same thing with the homeboy. You know, that's like a wife sitting there receiving calls and a text message from, you know, her co-worker or whatever. They've been friends for a long time. They share a lot of things, you know, in moments like that. And sometimes moments do come up where it's an exchange that takes place. It's a attachment that takes place, and an emotional bond is created, and that can cause problems. People are thinking, oh, well, it's not a big deal, but those emotional bonds, those are soul ties. That's what that's called. Those are soul ties. And so you be somewhere one day with your husband or with your wife, and you be like, dang, why all of a sudden I'm thinking about this person all of a sudden? Because you still connected to them in the spirit realm. You don't realize that you thinking, oh, well, we just text here and there. We just, you know, I might speak to them on the phone. I might call them. I might be having a bad day with my spouse, and so I want to pick up the phone and call them. That's not okay. That is not okay. You cannot continue in relationships with the opposite sex and be friends. Now, if that homeboy want to come over with you and your husband, and y'all sit down and have dinner together and sit down at the table and see how that look. Just the three of y'all come together and sit down, or oh, this is my God, my homeboy is our child's godparents. That's not gonna work. Where's the covenant? No. So the easiest way to deal with stuff like that is to cut it off. Don't enter into the marriage covenant with the homegirls, with the homeboys. It is so not okay to have that even as a back pocket. Like, you know, let me just keep them in my back pocket for just in case. Even, you know, with Facebook and social media, you know, we have to live in today's world, today's society. You know, you see them on Facebook. Hey, you know, you keep it simple. You are held accountable for your part in the marriage covenant. God's going to judge you. So if you feel like, oh, I don't think I'm doing anything wrong, I don't think I'm, you know, this is not a big deal, I'm just doing this, listen, God is our final judge. And if you feel like you have to hide it, it ain't right. If you feel like you have to sneak and call this person, it ain't right. If you feel like you got to go behind closed doors and let me go in the car and take this call right quick, or let me text over here, it ain't right. All this, you know, I got his code and I have his number and I can go in his phone and vice versa. It ain't right, people. Do not enter into a marriage covenant with the opposite sex as friends. You need to cut that off, back up from it, pull away from it. It is not healthy. It is not healthy. It is not healthy going into a marriage covenant with that type of friendship. I'm not saying that you guys can't see each other in the street and say, hey, but as far as having conversations, as far as texting each other, as far as, you know, let's go and have a sit down and, you know, let's catch up on old times or whatever with the opposite sex, and your wife or your husband is not there, that is a no. Enter into the marriage covenant. Which brings me to the X. Sometimes when you go into a marriage covenant, there is a child involved. And so therefore, now you have that child's parent that you have to still deal with because of the child. And you have to, again, this is where the soul tie come in at. There is a soul tie there unless it was denounced off of you, unless you have asked God to, you know, remove this soul tie from this. You have to be, when you go into a marriage covenant, you have to think like, this is a brand new start. This is a new beginning. You want to get rid of all the stuff from the past. You want to, this is a new foundation that we're setting, and you want to get rid of all that stuff. And so yes, you have to deal with that other person, with the ex, due to the child, depending on the child's age. And for a certain sense, if you have a brand new child or a young child, yeah, you may have to still have some kind of communication with that person, and that's where communication has to be emphasized. You know, you have to be upfront with your spouse and let your spouse know what's going on. Yeah, we got, you know, the dad is coming to pick up the child today. We're gonna meet here, or is it okay for them to come here? However, whatever you work it out. Now, once the child get a little older and becomes teenager, and they have their own cell phone, then that other parent can have more conversation with that child and call that child more direct, and in that sense. But there still has to be a level of communication with you and your spouse. One of the things you do not want to do with the ex, even with the child's the child's parent, is having sidebar conversations. This person is calling you randomly. This person is texting you randomly, and then expecting you to answer the phone. I'm not gonna always answer my phone if I'm here with my family. I'm not gonna always answer my phone if it's gonna be an inconvenience for my household. When you enter into a marriage covenant, that marriage covenant is what's important. Your home, your foundation, that's what's most important. Going into things any other way, or thinking, oh, well, I gotta put this on hold and go. No. Everything else is backseat, honey. When it comes down to the marriage covenant, this is your forever partner in life. So you're constantly working on that. So the exes, yes, we have to put them to the side as well. We have to have, it has to be set cordially. Listen, I'm not gonna be able to do this, and this. If the child has a phone that they can contact you on, reach you on, you can contact that child. If it's gonna be like this, listen, I can't do this and this and this. And you don't have to even get in detail about your household and how your household is ran. Just basically saying, I can't do this, or that's not going to be acceptable, or I'm not going to answer my phone, you know? So some things you just have to be mindful of, and you have to just use wisdom, because at the end of the day, God is looking at you. God is watching everything. The Bible tells God He is searching the earth and looking for those ones that He can bless. And you have to also remember that He sees and He watches our heart. And so we want to be mindful of those things. Then we go down to the longtime friends of the same sex. And this is you thinking, oh, well, this shouldn't be a big deal. This is not a biggie, but this can be an issue as well. This is no different than family members, the longtime friends of the same sex. So, you know, you and your girlfriend, y'all been friends for a long time, hanging it, kicking it, talking on the phone, chilling, whatever. And then, you know, your husband come in the house and you just act like he's not even there, you know? You have to use discernment. You have to use wisdom. Some things, and especially if your husband points something or someone out to you and say, look, that person there, I don't think that's really a good friend, or, you know, something about that friend there is not right. And the same thing with husbands. If a wife sees something in a husband's friend, and he's saying, something about that dude not right. He see that he got some qualities of, you know, he a cheater. He can, you know, be bad company. The Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians 15:33, don't be fooled by those who say such things, for bad company corrupts good character. We have to be very particular who we are friends with. We have to be very, very, very particular who we call friend. And if your husband or your wife has said, honey, that friend that you are friends with, I don't really think that's a good friend for you, or something about that friend don't seem right. Something is you know, maybe happening in your spirit that you say something not right about that person. And it's not saying that you have to break up with your friends and not be friends anymore, but you do have to pull back. You do have to say, you know what, I'm not gonna be able to hang out as much, I'm not gonna be able to talk on the phone as much, I'm not gonna be able to do these things as much. All that, you know, having your friends coming over and, you know, well, this is my friend, and you know, she's gonna just stay all night over here. How you gonna bring your girlfriend to your house with you and your husband? How you gonna bring your guy friend to the house with you and your wife? No. Get them a hotel room. I am sorry. I'm a married woman. I'm a married man, and I cannot bring that here. Now, they come with their husband and their wife. That's different. But that one-on-one stuff, you got to use discernment going into the marriage covenant. The marriage covenant is serious. And so the friend zone has to be taken. The friend zone is no different than how you deal with family in a sense. But with that homeboy and that homegirl stuff, get rid of that foolishness. That's going to be an issue in a few minutes if you don't tear that down. That's going to be an issue. All that, oh, well, my husband have friends and he talk to, and so I think it's okay for me to have friends and I talk to. Your husband and you are supposed to be best friends. And if y'all ain't best friends, that means you and Jesus are the bestest friends until you and your husband can become best friends. Because that right there is going to lead into a problem. And that's where Proverbs 5 coming in. We talk about the adulterous affairs, because that's what's going to happen next. Get rid of the homeboys, get rid of the homegirls. All that opposite sex chemistry is not good. We're automatically attracted to the opposite sex. Doesn't matter. And then the exes, you have to handle them with a long handle spoon. You be cordial, you do what you have to do for the child, but at the end of the day, your marriage covenant is on the line, and you have to put your marriage covenant above that, even above the child. Like I mentioned, the child comes third in the marriage covenant. And then the longtime friends, even of the same sex, sometimes those longtime friends have to be, it has to come to a place where the season with them is up. Like, okay, we used to can do this, we used to can chill like this, we used to can be like this, but this is not healthy right now. This is not good for me. And so bad company corrupts good character. We have to be mindful of that going into the marriage covenant. So I just wanted to share that. I know this is probably like one of the longest ones, because I just be hearing so many things, and people just be like, oh, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. No, that's not. That is not. It is not okay to have friends with the opposite sex. And even if your husband and wife say, oh, it's okay, I'm okay with that, it's okay, I'm okay with that, it is not okay. It is not okay, because in a few minutes, it's going to be a problem. And if you guys are long-term friends and you know their significant other and they're a couple, that's one thing. Y'all mutual friends, that's one thing. But that single and out, this is my homegirl. Me and her being homegirls for a long time. She going to come and hang out with me and my husband today. Why is your homegirl hanging with you and your husband? Like, why is your homeboy hanging with you and your wife? No, something about that ain't right. It's not adding up. I'm sorry. Get rid of those types of friend. Your friend is your spouse. That's who your best friend becomes, because at the end of the day, that's who you are held accountable to. And if your spouse ain't gonna be your best friend at the time, and he acting crazy or she acting crazy, then you need to get closer and closer to Jesus. Jesus said, I'm the closest friend. That's what his word tells us. I'm that friend. So lay your life down, and Jesus is gonna help you with friends. If you need a friend, go talk to Jesus. He your friend. I just want to emphasize that. Blessings.